Hey, welcome back. It's Andy from Sunshine State Insider. Today I am in Marianna, Florida, way up in the panhandle. We are going to check out one of the most unique state parks in the state of Florida, Florida Caverns State Park. This is so cool. This is really cool. I know a lot of people are probably going to be surprised to hear that there even are caves in Florida, but if you come up here to the Panhandle, Florida Caverns State Park is the only place in Florida where you can take a tour of a pretty good-sized dry cave. I've never been here before, so I'm pretty excited to check it out. I have been to Mammoth Cave up in Kentucky, so I'm excited to see how this compares against that. Anyway, we just signed up for the tour. It's about to go, so we're going to go check it out. Florida Caverns State Park is in the small town of Marianna up in the Florida Panhandle. That's about 55 miles northeast of Panama City Beach and about 60 miles northwest of Tallahassee. And it's only a few minutes off of Interstate 10, so this is actually a pretty easy park to reach if you're taking a drive on the interstate up in this part of the state. But now that we're already here, let's go inside the gift shop and visitor center here and get ready to go on this cave tour. The guided tour costs $15 and it lasts roughly 1 hour. It's first come, first serve, so there isn't a reservation system. The tour is moderately strenuous, I would say. There's a few mild inclines and declines and a stairway that leads down into the cave, and there's also a few low ceiling areas and some fairly tight squeezes too. So it should be pretty obvious that this isn't the tour for people who have mobility challenges or have problems with enclosed and confined areas. And before the tour starts, we're going to meet with our guide and the rest of our group in the Visitor Center Museum right here, where we get a little briefing on the cave history and some rules to follow, like don't touch any of the formations. That is very important. After that, down we go. This stairway that descends down into the cave did remind me a little bit of the entranceway to Mammoth Cave National Park in Kentucky. If you've ever been there, a lot of this stuff will look pretty familiar to you actually. Passing through this door into the cave, you are transported into a totally different world. In Florida, a state where our parks and nature usually involve beaches, mangroves, swamps, and gators, it's hard to believe you're still in the state of Florida when you first see this stuff. And here's our great tour guide Lou to set the scene with some really wild information about this cave.
But first, kids, you know where you're standing. Not just a floor or in a cave. You're actually standing underneath the floor of what's known as the Gulf of Mexico.
What?
It used to be up here above us. You know why I know that? I got a petrified sea urchin right up here in the ceiling. And you're going to see seashells all through the ceiling throughout the whole tour. So you're actually standing underneath the floor of the Gulf. Guys, I remember when it was just a little water puddle.
The tour took us from one amazing room after another, full of history, geology lessons, really cool lighting, and even a few ghost stories. Our tour guide Lou here even shared some of his own personal encounters with the supernatural down here.
Whenever I get to that room, as soon as I walk in there, I look around and say, "Good morning, Abigail. How you doing, honey?" That's what I talk to her. 9 times out of 10, I have a real slow, cold chill go right through me. And I asked her about that one night. I said, "Is that you?" Whenever I tell you good morning. The device I had in my hand, it went off 2 times, and that was for yes. So, she was my girl. That's all my girl.
This is my first time here. I've been to Mammoth Cave National Park twice, and this reminds me a lot of that. Very similar, just that is just a lot more of this. So if you've ever been there before, very similar experience here. If you've never been there before, you get a very similar experience here, but it's right here in Florida.
And this is really cool. This is well worth it. I am very, very stoked to be here right now. I could not recommend coming here enough. Probably my favorite state park in Florida so far. Haven't been to them all, but this is definitely up there.
And possibly my favorite thing to see down here is this pool of water in what's called the South America room. It got its name because the shape of the pool looks a lot like South America, and even though it might look like a sheet of glass, that is really water. There's no air movement down here at all to disturb the water surface, so it looks as smooth as glass. And remember earlier when I said there's a few tight squeezes and low ceilings in here to navigate? Yeah, they weren't lying. And you definitely need to watch your head through here.
So our tour guide said that part is called the tall man's torture, short man's revenge, and he said that lots and lots of people will get up and whack their head on that, and he has a first aid kit handy just for that purpose.
But if you're worried you'll be one of those who bangs their head on a low-hanging rock, all you need to do is listen to your guide. They'll tell you where you need to watch your head and where all the tight squeezes are going to be. They'll also tell you never to touch anything in here because you may damage or even kill one of the formations from ever growing anymore. But they do have one special one you can touch just to get it out of your system.
So the tour guide was very, very clear about not touching anything. He said you touch anything, you could break it, you could put oil on the stalagmites that basically kill the stalagmite or stalactite for life. But this one is called the touching post that they said you can touch. So yeah, I mean, it feels like a slimy rock, which is exactly how he described it.
And after about an hour exploring the caves under what I think is the most unique state park in Florida, it's almost time to leave this place, and it's very pleasant 65-degree year-round temp, and head back to the surface. This was truly an awesome experience and well worth the little side quest we made while we were up here visiting the Panhandle. Loved it, would highly recommend it, and I would definitely come back here again. They do even offer a flashlight-only tour where they turn off all the lights in here and you go through only by flashlight, so hey, you never know, maybe we'll be back here for that one day. That one is definitely for the truly adventurous, though.
Okay, so we just got done with the cave tour here at Florida Caverns State Park, and that was one of the coolest things I have done in a long time. It well exceeded my expectations. I really didn't know how big a cave in Florida could be. I thought maybe we'd go down there, go into a couple of rooms, look at a stalactite or a stalagmite or two, and call it a day, but it was an hour very well spent underground. I highly, highly, highly recommend this. It's not very far off of I-10. We actually hit this on a way out to Panama City, so we kind of took a little side trip off the interstate, and it was well worth the time and the $15 per person that it cost to do this tour. So definitely an underrated, little known gem. They have a flashlight only tour that my daughter is kind of thinking we should come do one of these days. We'll see about that, but yeah, I actually thoroughly enjoyed this. Couldn't recommend this tour enough. Florida Caverns State Park. Definitely come check this place out. And if you like this kind of content and you'd like to learn about fun things to do in Florida, from the theme parks to the state parks, please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, tell one other person. That really helps the channel grow, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.